Now listen. I have said, hush, shut up. Yo, you overtalk. And like I said, I'm not about to be up here fighting for no mic.
Didn't know what to say to you because I was so thrown off by parts of that live yesterday. I'm like, bro.
And we doing it on air when we could have did it behind the scenes?
What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So, of course, I already gave you guys my whole thought process on, what sparked the rift between basically Jess Hilarious and her entire, co-workers, the staff at the Breakfast Club. It was basically comments that Corey Holcomb did make, basically allegations that he made against the reasoning in which he believed that Jess Hilarious was basically disrespecting her co-host. And so then after that, she obviously ended up going on to the platform, and they gave her the opportunity to discuss all of her feelings that she put on Instagram herself. So we're going to go ahead and react to that situation. I want to just give you guys a disclaimer before we get started, okay? Platforms like the Breakfast Club are locked up like Fort Knox. Okay, so there is going to be certain, clip-ins or whatever that we're going to have to do at a time. That's the only way I'll be able to do that for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and then I'll give you guys, my thoughts when, there's an interim placed in.
Now, act like that's not for real. Act like nobody knew that. Stop acting like y'all,
What
we really...
What you mean we don't have your back? Break that down. Explain how we don't have your back.
Okay, all right. So the narrative, like I said, with the online-ish, that's what I said. Y'all ain't nobody trying to clear up no narrative about nothing.
Okay, so far, she walks right in. I actually ended up hearing this live this morning. So what happened is that she walks into the Breakfast Club, and, it's kind of like silence. Everybody is obviously anticipating the show to start because we know that there's going to have to be some kind of conversation. I particularly was listening because I was like, is she even going to show up? Is her badge actually going to work or not? So she did. And so they gave her the platform, and her first take of that situation was, don't act like anything I said is a surprise to you guys.
Ever since I came back, it was weird. Yes, it was weird. Yeah, I at first, no, I did not. I wasn't too fond of Loren. No, I wasn't too fond of her when I came back because we had a whole plan, even how when I came back, how I pick her to fill in for me, right? I come back, she ain't never leave.
So basically here, what she's saying is that, as we already know, she came in, the plan was that Loren was just going to be her fill-in, right? So it's like, imagine you having a sub at your job, and then you get back and you're doing the job and the sub is still there. Like, the math is not mathing.
And all right, cool that she don't leave, but she's on only during my segment. If she was meant to be a full host, move her in another way. Why she got to be moved in on? Because nobody had a problem with Jess with the Best until she started reading right. You know what I mean? Till she started reporting. I wasn't hired as a reporter. I was hired as Jess with the Best.
Now, this is the thing that I think that Jess has gotten wrong, right? She's like, I wasn't hired as a reporter. I was hired as Jess with the Mess. And basically, once I started to get my reporting in, and then here comes this new person again who is versed in the situation. Let's all remember, Loren used to work for TMZ. Okay, journalism is her profession. She's not a comedian. She's not a social media influencer who then just, got dropped into the seat. This is somebody who has done the work and is probably more suited for this job. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. What ended up happening is that obviously she's doing the job better than Jess. Everybody kind of forgot that when Angela Yee was there, that was her segment. She's the one who brought the hot topic. So the feminine energy that they bring on the platform, that is their position. So even though she's saying like that wasn't her job, it kind of was your job.
She started reading and delivering details and all that stuff. Yes. Then that's when Jess with the Mess wasn't good enough no more. That's how it was presented. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Who said that? Because the internet said
what
that?
Are we talking about? No.
I think this part she just got like a little bit emotional.
This is our listeners. This is yeah. Why can't we worry about the comments? And these are people that enjoy the show and watch the show. It's not all about Instagram. It's YouTube. It's like we have people that have been watching the show.
So here she's talking about the fact that like, yes, we do want to talk about the fact that it's a situation that we don't need to address every comment and, forget about the trolls and forget about the haters. But she's also saying, well, there's also people who are genuine viewers who have a strong opinion about the dynamics of what's happening right now on the platform. So I do want to have my ear to the streets of what these people are thinking and what their perception is of the show that we are presenting, which I think to that regard, I think is reasonable.
Great at what she did. That's why I picked her to fill in for me. But when I came back, it's kind of, it's like, what's going on? If she's gonna be a fourth voice, why she only got to be a fourth voice on my segment?
She wasn't a fourth voice. She was a producer. She was hired as a news producer to help with getting all news and doing interviews.
That, I'm not gonna lie, when I heard this part, it kind of changed the dynamics of everything, because I would assume that the producer is higher than the talent, right? And the reason why I say that is because usually a producer is locked into any kind of business. Like once you are a part of the production team, that is more of a sustainable job. That's more of like, we can't just get rid of you if we don't like you. We can't just break your contract. Like that's somebody who's kind of like embedded into the foundation of the company. So knowing that she chose that person who is a part of the production team, who I would assume would have more of a stable position within the company, to replace her for her maternity leave. I don't know if Jess was thinking that that would mean that she would not replace her because she's already within. But again, most of the people who, you know, hire up or promote, they promote from within, and they already know what she's good at, and they already know the company TMZ, what she was, you know, attached to, and what kind of, you know, notoriety that company has.
News producer.
She wasn't on there. When you came back, Loren was not on there. She was in the back doing questions, sending interview questions, reporting the news. Am I lying?
I thought she
was on air.
They told her don't step in this room.
Yes, but I thought you was using her on purpose.
I'm not gonna lie. This part of the conversation was 100% gaslighting at its finest. Okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna cap for you guys. This was gaslighting at its finest because, you know, DJ Envy saying that, she was never on air when she came back is not true. We literally saw the moment that Jess Hilarious walked into the studio, Loren was there and she did not move. Every time I've ever seen any interview since Jess Hilarious has been back, Loren has always been there. So that's one. Two, to say that you thought that Jess Hilarious is the one who asked her to come into the room, I do not believe that he even said that to be true. I think he just threw a divot in the conversation, just made that out of thin air, because that's no way possible that you would believe that when she was not there, right? All of a sudden you just keep seeing this person and you think that it's just that wanted her there when you guys are the ones who had her there. You know, even during the time of the transfer of power or whatever the case is, I don't believe that. I believe that, you know, in truth, they wanted to replace Jess, didn't know how to replace Jess. You know, found a better fit, maybe thought that they made that decision prematurely to have Jess on full time, and they didn't know how to work out the kinks of that situation. That's my opinion.
What? You thought I was using Loren on purpose?
Yes.
No, what are we talking about? No. She didn't leave when I came back. The first day we had a whole situation like, all right, look, this was gonna happen, and when it's time for us to roll, it changed.
Again, in the video, it was very blatantly clear that she was very uncomfortable with the dynamics of the situation when she walked into the room, into the studio, when she came back from maternity leave.
And I felt uncomfortable that first day. So I'm like, all right, look. Thea was like, all right, well, we'll just take her off air. She was back the next week. All right, cool. Because there was a voice. Y'all wanted her on air. There was a voice. They wanted her there. They wanted her here. There's a place for Loren.
100% they wanted her there. And I wish that they would just say that, right? Like, I wish that they would just say that, you know, yeah, to be real, she was here. We liked her. She fit in. We just didn't know what to do, man. We've never had this dynamic. It's always been the three of us. Now it's four, and we're just trying to figure out how it was going to work. Like, I wish they would just kind of say that.
You wanted her here too, though.
Another way, yeah.
Because you said you wanted to change the segment from Jess with the Mess to the Loren.
That was eventually,
Okay.
even when it came down to it still being called Jess with the Mess, and then I'm introducing her to introduce stories. That was pointless and it was stupid.
I agree that it was kind of pointless for her to do that because they're both talking about the same topic. So I can understand.
Let them people get in the comments and F with you. You're great at what you do.
Everybody simmer down.
Like, you a dope.
She's very
you
dope.
Let them people piss you off. No, F them niggas. Like, you nice. Like, what you do is funny.
I tell her that all the time.
You brought that energy that we needed to the Breakfast Club. Yeah. And you let a bitch in the comments say something to stand you up.
Now, this is where it went left. When I heard this live, I thought it was way more intense than even what I saw visually. I thought he was like, you know, standing up, maybe intense. Like, that was my perception of what actually happened. But in this situation, I have to repeat what I said in the first video, which is, you know, Jess chose her replacement because she saw talent in her. But she also chose somebody who had more experience in the field that she was than she has. And this was a new position, and I don't think it was a wise choice. I don't think so. I think it was maybe a silly choice for her to have chosen somebody with so much experience and someone who is so well versed within the position. Maybe they should have done it where they had like trial guests come in every week. That would have solidified Jess's spot, but that made it a very sticky situation. Again, when you're choosing somebody to replace you who has more experience than you in your position, that's just a silly thing to do. That's just my opinion.
And we doing it on air when we could have did it behind the scenes. Like I F with you the long way, not on some internet-ish. And to hear that through there, that's whack,
It sounds very light-skinned. Well, let's go to the phones. 1-800-585-1051. Let's open the phone line. Everybody will stop.
I'm going to get a sparkling water.
I got my candles lit. I got my candles lit. If you need me to light it.
So at this point, Jess Hilarious started crying. They obviously were going to a commercial break, whatever the case is. I don't know if she felt overwhelmed or whatever the case is because all of the emotions coming at her at once, or if it was the accountability or the realization at that moment, like at this moment, I knew I messed up. Like, I don't know if that was the situation that she was going through at that time, but there's no one else to blame but yourself for that situation. Like, you were in a predicament. Yes, you do have a position, but you, as soon as you got the job, got pregnant. And it changed the whole dynamics when you came back. And that's just what it is. And everybody else had to accept that. Like, Loren had to accept that that was not going to be her position. And you had to accept that as well. Do I think, that Loren was also giving it her all in a just any kind of hopes that maybe she can actually replace Jess and be there full time? I think she was. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think she was. I think she was giving it her best shot, and I think she got real comfortable being in that seat. Okay, if she has a background in journalism and is, again, worked for TMZ and stuff like that, this would be a great fit for her. And I think she was giving it her best shot, and it went over well, which did not go over well with Jess.
Didn't know what to say to you because I was so thrown off by parts of that live yesterday. I'm like, bro, we be talking at least enough. Like, we don't got to be friends outside of here. But I feel like I've always said to you off air, whenever things have happened, we've had conversations about a lot of different things. Let's talk. Call me. What's up? What's the issue? What's going on?
Now here at this part, it is Loren actually showcasing like her initial thoughts of seeing Jess that morning, right? They made a little joke about the fact that, like, she was going into the elevator and, she went into the elevator without Jess Hilarious because she just needed space. And she was basically saying, like, she didn't know how to approach the situation upon seeing her after how crazy, Jess was going off on her Instagram Live.
Is the whole narrative. Like, I understand F the comments and F the people and all that. But it's not all about them. It's how I'm feeling too. What if I'm feeling the same way the people feel?
This is the one thing that I wondered about this part that she said. Is it that you feel the same way that people feel, or is it that people are influencing you and you don't realize subconsciously, but that's the reason why you feel that way? Because at the end of the day, if you sign a contract and you're getting paid, whatever the dynamics are, if somebody's doing a portion of your job that's going to make it easier for you, just roll with it. Okay, you got a new baby. That's less stress for you if somebody's doing a portion of the show. I don't know if it is that you're allowing the outside, forces to get into your head or whatever about the situation, or if while you're in the same room with her, you are just feeling feelings of jealousy. Right? You're feeling a little bit inferior to her, again, because of her background.
Your issue sometimes too, because I feel like, all right, you'll call him, you'll cuss him out. We might talk about different situations, but I think a lot of times if there's an issue for real, and then it don't be no movement in here, it's like there's an issue outside and then there's no movement in here, and then we just all in here like hee ha. Like, you're doing a lot of it right now.
Charlamagne was joking a lot, and so she's saying, like, why are we gonna be sitting here joking around? When there's serious situations that just keep getting swept under the rug.
For real, that she's up here crying. Nothing about that is funny. Like, there's real issues and real problems, and we don't really get to the gist of it.
Ever. I want the record to show I see Jess cry like. So.
It doesn't matter if you see her cry 1,000 times.
Now, this part, even though Charlamagne was joking, it does matter, because when men are met with emotions from women constantly, a woman always crying, it becomes like the boy who cried wolf. Right? Because when women use their emotions, most of the time it's for manipulative, tactics. It's usually in the form of manipulation. I'm not saying that's what Jess was doing, but tears don't really move men, right? The reason why Loren went in there when she saw Jess crying is because she's a woman, right? Women are usually influenced or moved by tears. Men are not wired that way. So what he said, even though people thought it was a joke, was a very pivotal statement. That was a very, important statement that he made, because if he sees her crying all the time, he's like, this is no different to me.
And I can understand some of where you was coming from, but bro, part of that live I thought was crazy. I'm like, what, Jess? Like,
What part did you think was crazy?
What part? Because like, one, it's not like you didn't hear anything in that live that I haven't said to you.
I heard a lot that you didn't say to me.
Okay, so
She has the right to give her opinion. She has the right to give her take. She has the right to say whatever it is that she needs to say. And so Loren's now going to give her final perspective, her actual perspective of how she felt hearing all the disrespectful things that Jess was saying about everybody.
did I not say to you?
Okay, so the part about the talking over each other and the hush, be quiet, because you talk about how you feel in real time, right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling in real time. That be quiet. That was crazy. The shut up, I was like, oh, okay, because what we really giving up here? Like, what's up?
Okay.
Disrespectful. I don't have to say it again. We all knew that was disrespectful.
But I didn't.
None of that was said. You didn't say anything about that.
And then when I pulled you into the office with our EP with Eddie, the first thing I said to you was, Jess, we fighting for airtime and it shouldn't be like that. I want to know what can I do better as a producer? What can we do better as the two women sitting right here next to each other to make sure that don't happen, because it doesn't look good.
I agree with that. And this is the thing. It's so interesting to me that women are always women supporting women, and women sisterhood, and we got each other's back, and we can stand each other. We can't stand men. And it's so interesting to me that all you have to do is get two women into one space for a certain period of time, and there's going to be a conflict. Majority of the time, it is a rare occasion if there is no conflict, no undertone, no passive aggressiveness, or no underlying, jealousy. It's a rare occasion when that happens. And you're going to tell me that while I'm sitting here on my platform on a daily basis holding women accountable, that majority of times when there is chaos or drama in a situation, that women are not the ones to blame? Y'all can't tell me that. Okay, because we're seeing it clear as day. There's literally the same conflict between two women, and as much as they're trying to deflect the blame onto somebody else, the meat of the matter is there's jealousy brewing from Jess Hilarious, because the dynamics of her position changed when she went on maternity leave and came back. 100%. Nothing else is the matter.
Play well for either one of us.
I literally swear to God, I don't even remember you saying that.
And that's exactly why I had Eddie in the room, or EP,
I never ever heard that.
Because
you've pulled me to the side a few times to ask me, are you okay? How do you feel like about the stories and things like that? You've never said what you just said to me.
So she's saying she doesn't remember, and she's saying it didn't happen. What I also found, very interesting about that clip is that while Loren was talking, Jess was over talking her. Okay, and I remember on the live stream the day before, she was very adamant of the problem she had with Loren being an overtalker.
Now listen, I have said, hush, shut up. You overtalk. And like I said, I'm not about to be up here fighting for no mic. Like, I'm not doing that. If I already got the job, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not. It's full voices. Three of us are very opinionated. You know what I mean? Me, you, and Charlamagne. You know what I'm saying? When you overtalk.
Again, I think overtalking on a radio show is the name of the game. It's going to happen sometimes. It may not happen all the time. It may not happen every time. And how do I know this? Because of live streams, because of panels. Like, when you're all passionate about a topic, or you all have a very strong opinion, it might happen, 1, 2, or 3 times. And that's just the name of the game. Sometimes people are not meaning to do it to, belittle you or disrespect you. It's just a part of the conversation. I've seen, Jess do it even within this conversation to Charlamagne, to Envy. She can do it to Loren. So again, is your issue with her that she overtalks you, or is the issue that you feel like she provides too much value and you want your point to get across before she says what she has to say? Or you don't want her to say anything because you just want her to just be there, sit there, and you want to be the reigning, woman of the show. Competition.
Like, the only time you can quiet down is if somebody be like, shut up or hush.
My mom don't even tell me shut up, Jess. I'm a grown-ass woman.
And I understand. You could have said that on air right then and there. Or right after when you say you put me in office. You never put me nowhere to tell me that.
I think that Loren definitely should have addressed that immediately. Because I'm a firm believer that you teach people how to treat you, and if you allow disrespect at any token, if you even open just a little bit of the door to disrespect, people are going to flood the gates with you, and they're just going to overly disrespect you on a consistent basis. So I do think that she should have said something about it. However, I don't think that it was 100% necessary for her to say something, because Jess should have known herself as an adult that that's not how you talk to people. Jess should have known on her own that was disrespectful, and Jess should have came to her even after and said, hey, I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't trying to disrespect you. It's just we're in the moment. I had something to say and blah, blah, blah. So it says a lot to me about Loren's character that she didn't say anything. And I just feel like this whole drama with Jess and Loren, maybe they're going to be able to work it out, but it's furthering the bad taste in people's mouth about Jess. That's just my opinion.
The way that I do things when it comes to my job and my career, that's not what we on. And I told you from the jump, I was never going to give that to you.
Okay.
Ever. And I did or not. Our first conversation, I said, if I ever have an issue with you, I'm going to handle it in a way where we can get through a conversation because we grown. And regardless, you don't got to love me. You don't got to like me, but we here together.
They're going to have to figure out how to work it out because if they're both in contracts, unless they're going to let somebody out their contract. But again, this is not a very good look for Jess Hilarious because if people were already saying that they like Loren more, and now here you are going on, you know, on a tangent on Instagram, proving reasons why they should like Loren more, then coming on the panel and Loren is talking and she's the calm and composed one and you're the angry one. It's just going to keep, you know, creating that situation. So I don't know, maybe they'll let somebody out their contract, but if not, they're going to have to figure out how to work it out.
I'm here.
And listen, like I said earlier, the internet loves mess.
Yes, you are here.
And one of the easiest ways to create mess is to pit women against each other.
And you're here because of an opportunity that I extended.
Regardless
like
of-
no. I'm not sitting here like you don't deserve to be here. I'm not sitting here like you're not here. You're not going anywhere.
But not because you're the one that extended that opportunity means that gives you the authority to talk to her any kind of way. Okay. And I remember I did a video a couple years ago of basically women talking about how, you know, black women in particular talking about how they don't like to work for black women bosses because they're the ones who disrespect them the most, demean them, diminish them, talk down to them. And this is a similar situation because Jess had the authority to put her in that position. Now Jess feels like I can tell you to shut up. I can tell you to be quiet. I can tell you to get out of my face. I can talk to you any kind of way. I could talk about you. I can dismiss you because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be sitting right there. And that's just not respectful. That's not the right way to go about doing things, especially in a business situation.
Like, let's first and foremost, let's get that. It may be my delivery or whatever. But yeah, you are here. I ain't never say you shouldn't be here. I said from the whole jump, yeah, Shorty do the job. Great. She's amazing. That's why I want it to be her segment.
I think y'all can work very well together. And once again, you got to stop letting the internet pit y'all against each other.
I don't think that she has the authority to let her not be there in totality. Hence why she hasn't, you know, made that decision, because I don't believe that she is the authority to make that decision. Because if she was, the minute that she, you know, expressed her grievances to anybody, then Loren would no longer be there in the room with everyone. But she's consistently there all the time.
I know the
It's
internet has
beyond
created
it,
a
but it's just
narrative,
a way
Loren versus
that I
Jess, Jess
feel
versus
as well.
Loren.
But that's what it is.
It beyond it go, and that's what I'm trying to say is the internet is there. We see it. None of us can ignore it. I saw that Corey thing a week ago. We didn't say nothing
Yeah,
about
but
it.
y'all clear up everything else. Nobody want to clear up that I'm not doing that. I don't like you, or I'm hating on a.
They say
I don't know if somebody had a negative comments about Loren, if Jess would be so gung-ho to defend her. I don't know if that would be a situation. So I don't think that she should be begging for the defense of anyone. The same way you got on Instagram Live and, you know, made a rant and decided to expose the truth. You could have gone on Instagram Live if you wanted to do it that way, or gone on air because you have the platform of the Breakfast Club and said, hey, I have no problem with Loren. I have no issue with her. That's my girl. And that's just what it is, and left it at that, and kept, you know, private matters private, talked about y'all business in y'all business meeting and kept it pushing, and that would have been it. But you didn't do that. you kind of, again, you opened the door more to try to, you know, side with the opposite people who don't like Loren and only like you.
Last time I attempted to do that, Jess, it went so bad that I said I wasn't going to do it again.
To do what?
I don't dislike you. You don't dislike me. The day you came back. That's what
But
my
Loren,
intentions was.
they-
And we talked about
women's
it.
history
That was different. The way when I did come back on, you have to admit that ish was crazy.
Now, Loren is referring to, again, that the moment when Jess was walking in, you know, she basically tried to say like, oh, you know, people say we don't like each other, yada, yada, yada.
You doing good, and I don't like this about Jess, and you know, I hate that. Yesterday we were out, and majority of the people I ran into, Jess with the mess in her news is real. Okay, you back? You ready?
Jess is
You
back!
ready? You ready? Yes, girl. Let's get it.
Not to tell them off the chair.
What's up, Jess?
Now, in this portion, I do agree that for the viewers or the listeners who had no idea of what was going on back and forth, you just brought highlight to a situation that we did not or were not aware of, right? And that can be used as a tactic of manipulation. I'm just going to keep it real. So although she's saying her intentions was to talk about togetherness, I think the person who would have been talking about togetherness would have been Jess, the person who people were coming against, right? And saying like, hey guys, you know, or just don't talk about it at all. Don't even bring it up. Let people think whatever they want to think and just leave it out there. But I think when Loren brought highlight to that, I could see how that would look weird to Jess, because it's like, what about the people who didn't even know about this or didn't have an opinion about this? And now you're putting them in a situation that now they're going to start thinking about it, even if they weren't. So I agree with Jess on that part.
We had a setup. We had something going. We had a whole nother plan. It went left. You came in here and it's like you did something totally different. The first thing that you spoke to was the things in the comments.
I feel like
so
I had a
what are we
behind the
talking
scenes
about?
meeting on air, which is kind of cool, but let's go to commercial or something and then come back.
I agree. I agree that it could have been something that they just talked about off air. I agree that this was supposed to be a meeting, but I also think that the producers of the show had no problem taking advantage of this situation because they knew that people were going to be tuning in extra to hear everything that was going on. And not only that, people are going to be tuning in on a frequent basis, you know, consistently, whether they were or not. They're going to be tuning in more because they're going to want to see how the dynamics, change. If Jess is going to be worse, if they're going to be more peaceful, are they going to become friends? So I don't know. I think it was, even though it Jess kind of put herself out there to dry, to be honest with you, everyone else is going to be benefiting from the situation. I don't know if it's going to be a good look for Jess, because even just doing this as a business person who signed contracts and is talking negatively about your business partners, it might affect the way that people want to do business with you in the future, right? Loren LoRosa right now looks like the victim. Okay, whereas Jess was trying to be the victim, Loren looks like the victim, and it might change her opportunities moving forward as well. I don't know. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.